Hello, everyone. Blue Star Saber here once again to discuss Record of Ragnarok with Mangareader after
Woo.
many months since the last.
Woo!
Oh, okay.
just woo.
Yes, I'm getting straight in there and all that stuff. So yeah, Record of Ragnarok round 6 has finally concluded, and it seems like the perfect time to discuss again. Now, granted, we could have also discussed the anime, but I'm not sure how far Mangareader has gotten with the anime.
Yeah, and we don't know how far any of you guys have gotten into it either.
I mean, I watched all 12 episodes on the day it came out in the dubbed version on Netflix, but
It's dubbed?
yeah,
I thought it was subbed.
yeah, dub and sub is both out.
Holy crap! I was watching sub the whole time.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't know. Granted, from what I can tell, the anime got a lot of controversy for how it animated its thing. Though, granted, the anime also apparently got some controversy with once again with Hindus, given the fact that American Indians did not like the portrayal of Shiva, like the manga, like when the time when that apparently that president of the Universal Society of Hinduism, which he criticized the manga deception. So apparently it's so bad that Netflix removed the anime itself from streaming in India. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's actually to be expected. Oh well.
So let's see. I guess it can't be helped and all that stuff.
Nope, not a chance.
But yeah. I also tried to recommend the series to our good friend Chat, but unfortunately, it's a bad anime adaptation, and she saw the first. She saw the first episode, but didn't like it, and ended up, dropping it. Not even by finishing the first episode. So now I feel like, great. I'm not sure she'll ever trust me again with recommendations. She probably will, but I guess I have to be more careful with them from now on.
You think?
But yeah, or at least be people who I recommend what to who. I'm sure James would probably like this series.
Probably. Could be.
But anyway, Record round 6. We actually talked about, I believe, last time, chapter 43, round 6, on the last stream, as that was the last chapter out, I think, during that time, in which Buddha was, willing to offer himself to be like Zeus wanted Buddha to be the, God's contestant in the 6th round.
What the?
However, we can tell he had some other ideas as he, said he's fighting for humanity, defecting for the gods, and declaring that he will, defend humanity and all and all that stuff, and killing God that gets in his way. So that was like chapter 6 and the first of like the shocking twists, as you will, as for those who see the subtitle, round 6, the good, bad, and the shocking. So
good,
yeah, that's
bad and shocking. Yeah.
Let's see. So this is probably depending on who. Now, granted, most people have theorized that Buddha was going to change to the other side, but still, you just had to wait and see if it would actually happen. But this was only like the firsts of what going to be many twists into the manga and all that stuff. So yeah. So that was like that, of like the gods either being shocked or angry of this betrayal. As we go into chapter, let's see. Oh, damn it! I should not have clicked on that. Damn it!
Oops.
Let's see. Let me just history. Just gonna. Let's see. Let's see. I'm just gonna manga. I'm just gonna. Let's see. Normally I'd go to the official translations, but I don't think Record of Ragnarok has them. Though I do know that next year, I believe that the online digitals are coming out, and then the year of this year apparently, and then in 2022, the volumes are actually coming out for Record of Ragnarok, which is going to be exciting, for at least for that.
Interesting. But that's good to know.
But yeah, let's see. Record of Ragnarok. Let's see. Let me just try Record of Ragnarok.
Record.
Puck. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. Let's see, chapter 44, which I think is titled Answer, in which we see how the gods, as we see the gods and the humans react to Buddha's sudden declaration that he's fighting for humanity. As many of them are confused, dumbfounded, and shocked. Let's see. Though granted, among the two gods to find this amusing is Shiva and Thor, who seem to smile at this revelation. It's interesting to find that the two gods that survived their bouts against humanity I found Buddha's turn, to be, amusing to them.
Exactly.
However, we see other gods such as Aphrodite so angry that her anger is covered by the shade of the shadows, to show that to the extent of how angry she is. Ares has broken the arm of his chair or sofa, if you will, while Hermes is just staring coldly with dead cold eyes. Loki is so angry he's biting his thumb. And Thor is so angry that he's scaring his two ravens.
Two ravens? That was Odin.
Yeah.
Thought you said Thor. Oh, don't matter.
Yeah, Odin,
Yeah.
Mentioned Thor earlier, while Odin is also with Loki. And I believe the two ravens are called Hingen and Munin.
Yep.
Apparently, they're a pair of ravens that fly over the world of Midgard and bring information to the god Odin. I guess you could say it. At least that's what the Wikipedia says in their mythology and all that stuff.
Sure, well, they follow things loosely.
Yeah. But the only one that's revealed to be not shocked by this is none other than, which should not be a surprise, is none other than Brunhilde, or Brunhilde. As Goalie seems a bit shocked as she realizes that Brunhilde knew that this was going to happen.
Ooh.
A part of her sister's plan.
Yeah.
Let's see. As Brunhilde goes on about how Buddha does things his own way, if you will.
Yeah. His own. Yeah.
Let's see. Hang on. Yeah. Let me just check if it's there. Let's see. He's dictated by Buddha does things his own way and doesn't like anyone, telling him what to do, if you will. As we end up seeing a bit of a flashback, as we go to a bit of a flashback of when Buddha meets with Brunhilde, and he ends up telling her that he's going to fight for humanity and all that stuff. Though, interesting enough, he actually offers her some popcorn, which he has not done. As we previously seen, when Zeus tried to grab a snack from him, he refused to give it to him and all that stuff. Though for Brunhilde, he seems to be willing.
Inner enlightenment.
Yep. So anyway, he says how he sides with humanity. She doesn't feel that shocked at all, though. Which Buddha goes "What? Aren't you so?" Let's see, but he's acting come on, be a bit more shocked, though. It seems like Buddha suspected this has gone according to her plan, as we revealed that Brunhilde had actually gone to Buddha first before the gods' conference about, the use of Volhand and all that stuff. To actually learn if it could work, because I think, because it shows that she was clearly preparing, not just on that day, but a lot longer before for, that the gods were going to, go against humanity. So, it seems like, in a sense, she was recruiting Buddha back then, if you will.
Yep.
She denies this, but she clearly states that no one dislikes the gods more than Buddha. Which he laughs off, though he seems to be a bit. That he seems to intimidate her a bit, which, as we can see, she seems a bit shocked.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes about how to Gully that he's, depending on which translation you read, is a very scary individual, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
However, However, the god. I'm trying to remember what his name is. Heimdall, the Norse god, with the horn and stuff. The one that the announcer, if you will, for the series, is completely protesting, as this is against the rules. 13 fighters for the gods, 13 for the humans. One going over the other mixes up those numbers. Since if I recall, the remaining humans that are meant to compete in in this fight is for humanity is Qin Shi Huang. I believe that is the emperor of was an emperor of China.
Yeah.
Leonidas, who most people probably remember from Frank Miller's 300, probably. Even though he is an actual Greek king and all that stuff. Nikola Tesla, the inventor of electricity, or one of the inventors. Grigory Rasputin, I believe a Russian doctor that was a friend of the royal family or something. Soji Otaki, Michael Nostradamus, Shimi Hayua, I believe the best sniper in the world, and Saki Kintaki. So
I think we got a spoiler picture of the sniper guy.
Yeah, and I believe, of course, as well as Qin Shi Huang, I believe, has also got a spoiler picture.
Probably.
With Buddha's defection, that leaves, the only ones left: Loki, Apollo, Susano, Anubis, Odin, and Beauzerb, and Bishamilton, at least, where we'll get to that one a bit in a second, but yeah.
Beauzerb. Beelzebub?
Yeah. Which you might remember from that manga with that crying baby.
Yeah.
At least in pop culture.
Yeah.
However, lucky for Buddha, Zeus doesn't mind, and and seems even excited about the thing, pointing out that technically the rules of Ragnarok says that the first side to reach 7 wins declares the victor amongst, 30 and out of the 13 men they send. As far as he's concerned, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter who they send. I think it's even implied here that Buddha, Zeus might actually want to have another go of a round. So,
right.
It's not the issue of replacing the missing god, though. For we know, someone else might try to take over. And I'll probably bring that up in a bit later at the end. All that stuff. However, he seems to enjoying the facts, which Buddha seems to thank Zeus for allowing a chance. So he's asked, I think depending on which translation, he's asking, are you going to fight me or who are you going to send against me? Let's see. But before the fight can begin, Odin ends up asking Buddha this one question, that is he truly going to make an enemy of all the gods here, just for siding with humanity in this fight and that stuff? However, Buddha says he doesn't care. let's see, it doesn't really matter to him. Enemies, allies, gods, good guys, bad guys, and all that stuff, humans. It doesn't matter to him. He's just himself because he's Buddha in the universe, the honored one. Further angering like the gods, particularly you can see Luke, he just clawing at his own hair and all that stuff.
Oh, Loki.
Who's clearly the most furious about the whole thing since he suspected him being a traitor before. And of course, he gets cursed out of the gods. Let's see, some mocking him about being an ex-human and that stuff. But anyway, Zeus ends up revealing let's see who his next opponent is, as you hear the divine punishment, and all that stuff. As you hear the chants, as you see the 7 lucky gods fly from their, let's see, boat, Viking ship, maybe? I don't know, some sort of, let's see. I don't know, that some sort of, let's see, boat with a dragon, let's see, with a dragon head, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But yeah, the 7 lucky gods have arrived with a Busher Moulton as, the leader. There's like the one, let's see, conveying the fact. I apologize if I have mispronounced the name. I am not used to to be honest, I've never heard of this, like, god. And depending on, let's see, so all that stuff. So there we go. As Zeus entrusts this to him, let's see. So let's see. Heimdall just goes. Ask her it. Let's see. I announced without his microphone since it got destroyed. He announces Bushy Mountain is round. Let's see, the God's champion for round 6, but he's confused as none of the other 7 lucky gods seeming to go moving away, as wondering it's supposed to be a 1-on fight. No. Let's see, can the rest of you leave and all that stuff? No backup and all that stuff. Let's see. However, Bushimoto says that this is okay, as they are not 7 gods. They are, of course, 1 god, as this was kind of hinted at with that previous chapter with, Jack the Ripper sensing they all had the same soul, if you will.
Yeah.
So anyway, Bushimoto breaks off his armor, and each of the gods go into him one by one. And depending on which translation, it's either either a Bishamon's name with some sort of form, or Bushimoton's name added with each one of the 7 lucky gods. Each one gets on to him and all that stuff. As more and more people are getting shocked by as his constantly changing transformation, until all of them become one with him. But by the time all gods add together, his name is these transformations gets really long. I'm not going to even pronounce them, to be honest.
Anyway, those names, yeah.
As they all get together, it gets a bit of an adulation saying about how the 7 lucky gods who preside over the world's good fortune. However, it talks about how there's one more god, an 8th, let's see, god of legend, if you will. And apparently this part remains true to many parts of the world. Apparently in India, it's a goddess Lakshmi or something. In Japan, apparently Durama is Acadia, the list of the 8 gods there, as there are temples. And apparently the presence of the 8th god said to originate in China, the Amata Mortals and Shrine here. So it seems like the mangas bring up all the references to these 7 lucky gods, from what I can tell.
Right.
Looking at Wikipedia, and let's see, the 8 gods I've described are Izubu, Daka Koten, Bisha Mountain, Banza Seaton, Jurujin, Hote, and depending on which version, either Fukuroji Kuchu, sometimes omitted, and then Ketchigo Toten, also sometimes omitted, and apparently, so yeah, so depending on which region of the world, the seven lucky gods change. But for here, the manga is doing its own original god, as we end up with the, and its name is Zero Foku, if you will.
Yeah.
Now, apparently, according to the trivia for the Wikipedia for this, apparently, since he has no real-life equivalent, making him an original character, he seems to be inspired by, apparently, Lakshmi, the Hindu goddess of wealth, fortune, power, beauty, and prosperity, and the eight immortals. Apparently, his name means zero luck, apparently. Apparently, the name Zero Foku translates to zero fortune, or can be interpreted as misfortune. So, the eighth god is the unlucky god in the world of Record of Ragnarok. And as we can tell from his, from his first impression, he really wants to kill Buddha.
Of course.
Which in chapter 45, we end up learning why.
Yeah.
As
yes, we do.
He's preparing for battle. But anyway, as he's twisting and turning his body, out come from his shoulder. He's bringing out what appears to be some. As he's talking about how he wants to kill. Buddha. As he's got out some like giant cleaver axe with like these sort of like ink or snake-like things as its holder, if you will. That's how best I can describe it. Let's see. Hold on, let me just get. Let's see. Let's just find what the weapon said. Oh yeah, the misery cleaver, if you will. But yeah, though Ares is shocked about how is there ever such a god this sinister in Valhalla, if you will.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hermes ends up, of course, as usual. Hermes ends up explaining the rumors about Siravoko and how out of the south there can come blessings, if you will. As he talks about how this round seems to be quite the faithful matchup.
Faithful.
So anyway, as Heimdall gets like from his data per as they changed, like showing him how they've changed it from Record of Ragnarok round 6, Buddha versus Bushimoten to Sirofoku. However, he doesn't care anymore. It doesn't matter whatever gods, as long as he doesn't get in trouble, as both contestants are out of left field. Ends up revealing that he has a lot of spare mega horns for his horn to announce the results of Ragnarok.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder why he didn't bring out another one sooner, but I guess the manga series would not be the same without him just do it with his commentary and all that stuff.
You always got to have a strong commentator in a tournament.
So once again, he announces that on humanity's side, as you see many monks, happy with as he shouts, "The Buddha!" and goes on about the gods side. Do we have Bushimoto? Nay. The seven lucky gods? Nay. Introducing the new and improved Zero Foku as the fight begins. However, Goalie is asking, "Who the heck is this Zero?" As she realizes, one of the previous seven lucky gods was describing as Zero before. As she's asking what the whole deal is Zero Foku, as she's never heard of, seven gods forming into one. However, Brunenheid explains to her that the seven gods were only a temporary form, and that Zero Foku is the actual true form of this god, if you will. As she's quite shocked, as Goalie explains how shocked she is about how demonic this god is. She's never seen one so menacing. As Brunnenheid explains that this god was once the kindest god amongst them all. However, the amount of greed changed him, as we end up seeing his back, as we go to his flashback. I have to admit, this is probably the quickest we've ever gone to a flashback of any character.
Quite a bit, yeah.
Because normally we see them fight for like a chapter or two before going to the flashback.
I'm guessing this is more to do with the fact that they already set up the fact that this guy has a problem with history with Buddha. So I figure, or they figure, whoever figures, it would be a good time for a backstory.
Yeah, given the implications and all that stuff. So, and somewhere in ancient Asia, we see Sir Foko with none of the black hair and all that stuff. It's nice and white as he's wants to make everybody happy. He heals a bird that was injured and all that stuff. He wants to make everyone. He was, as the narration goes about how he's kinder than any other god, and wanted to make people happy, no matter how much they're grieving. As he stumbles by a poor village, as we see people starving and dying, as you will, and all that stuff. As you can see how upset he is. However, he decides to take away their misfortune. And as he does so, he helps a little kid, taking away his misfortune and restoring him to good health. However, the misfortune gets absorbed into Zirovoku as the boy is healthy. And then you see all the Ritzy people, Ritzy celebrating and thanking this god. However, Zirovoku is just glad that they're so happy. So he made it his duty to go around many parts of the gritty of Asia, maybe even the world for we know, but I think mostly Asia. Taking away everyone's misfortune and absorbing them all, if you will. And then, after many months and maybe years, he returns back to where he began, and as we can see, he's in a very terrible state. But then again, because he's absorbed so many of people's misfortunes, but he thinks it was worth it all in the end, despite how much he's suffering. So eventually he ended up going back to the Fritzy village. Unfortunately, due to, I suppose you could say, a sense of naivety to Zirovoku, he does not quite get that, the nature of man, the true nature of mankind can be... because as well, he took away their misfortune. It seems the humans lost sight of their happiness. As we see them all gluttonous, lustful, fat, and even nasty towards each other. Heck, we end up seeing that the kid he saved much earlier ends up being, as Zirovoku's down on the floor, he ends up insulting and calling him a filthy man and doesn't even recognize the god. As he seems to have taking two women away to to have a fun time, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And as we can see, Zirovoku starts to snap, wondering what's going on. However, the bird he saved much earlier, recognizes him and comes towards him to try and be all lovey-dovey. But however, Zirovoku has become so much menacing, has gotten so much sinister. The misfortune starts to absorb into him, and he starts to get a bit nasty. Presence that the bird flies away in fear.
Oh God!
As we continue to see more of humans being gluttonous, lustful, or lazy, or aggressive towards each other, and he was wondering why he couldn't make them happy. However, a figure ends up walking with a group of people, and is revealed to be none other than Buddha, as all these poor people and animals are smiling. As you see, Buddha is leading them from the front, as he's eating some seeds or beans or something. I don't know. But some poor man is asking, saying, Buddha, can I have some? And Buddha says, sure, have as many as you like. And we see that many of the people, while they all appeared ragged and witty and all that, and poor and all that stuff, however, they were all so happy that they end up making all the people that Zirovoku tried to help feel guilty and all that stuff, and makes them, give up their not nasty habits, I guess, if you will. stop fighting, stop eating, stop being lustful and shameful and all that indecent, if you will.
Finding that inner enlightenment.
Yeah.
The path.
However, Zirofoku cannot seem to figure out what's going on and goes like, wait! What did you do? I absorbed all their misery and fortune to make them happy, but they're not. But somehow you're making them. Let's see. However, Buddha says that doing so, absorbing happiness, ain't right, as I think he says, you can't give other people happiness. It's apparently something you gotta attain for yourself. As he goes on, when there's shadow, there's light. And apparently this is a description from the Shuto Nipata, chapter 2, in which it's described, in the words of the enlightened one, you desire happiness, you say, then carry out the yoke which is most suited to you. That is the state in which you will bring delight, and the shadow in which shall ultimately bear true happiness. So, okay, that's interesting. So it's So that's interesting from what they describe using a Buddha's philosophy here about happiness, I guess. So, let's see. Buddha offers like Sirafoku, want to reach enlightenment and all that stuff. As we see both the poor and the ones of Sirafoku going, praising Buddha somehow as they all flock to him while leaving Sirafoku. He starts to cry and run off. With the audience confused, Buddha says he has no idea, and he guess like puberty must be rough. Oh. Clearly, Buddha sees despite Siravoku being a god, Buddha clearly sees him as a kid. And it's revealed that Zirofoku has become jealous of Buddha, as he says, like, enlightening the humans is his job. So it's humiliating for him that a human is able to enlighten other humans when he, a god, should be the one doing that. Upset about how he tried so far to try and make people happy. However, he starts to transform as he becomes much more sinister, as love turns to hate, and so, in many ways, Buddha absorbed all the misfortunes, particularly of gluttony, pride, lust, wrath, pride. I think it says avarice. I think here, though, sloth and envy, though. Avarice. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. I guess that must be greed, I guess. So, in other words, Sirafoku has absorbed all of the 7 deadly sins, if you will. As he's transformed into the more monstrous murder form that we've seen as his introduction. As some nearby humans come along, asking what's going on. As he attempts to try and attack them, and they mistake him for a monster, he attempts to kill a woman. However, that woman has a baby, and this hesitates Sirafoku as he stabs his chest and splits himself to 7 guards. As they talk about how that was close, as in their murderous rage, they would have given divine punishment, if you will. As the 7 lucky guards talk about how they want to get their revenge on Buddha. However, they say for the time being they're leaving and all that stuff. And this is the birth of, like, as these human witness the birth of the 7 lucky gods, if you will. As the fight is now beginning, as Ritzy Sirafoku, wants revenge as he brings out his giant cleave and saying, "It's time I pay back for you making a fool of him." However, Buddha appears to kick him right in the stomach. First move before he was even a surprise attack, if you will, shocking the audience, such as, the Valkyrie, the guards, and the announcer. However, Buddha, in a sort of, it's a Tuesday moment, if you will, I believe the trope is, asking, sorry, who are you? It's like,
sorry, you were wide open.
Let's see. So yeah, you remember Drax the Destroyer, Drax from let's see, Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
I do, yeah.
As you remember how he's like, I've waited this whole time to kill you, Rohan, and Rohan's like, sorry, I don't remember you.
Who
It's
are
like,
you again?
yeah. It's like your entire life has been defined by this one moment, and the person responsible for it doesn't even remember you.
Or chooses to willingly not remember you.
Yeah. As we see probably later from the next few chapters. So yeah. As he also talks about how Buddha's front kick right into Sirofoko's gut, as it looks like he's down for the count, as Sirofoko can't seem to breathe. As Buddha says that, come on, we've already started, so let's do this for real now. With the guards angry about this foul play, and the monks a bit shocked that Buddha would do a surprise attack, though someone comments that the law is harsh, but it is the law. Though, and this guy says that he's pretty ruthless despite being one of the four sages, as we see these three individual figures with like robes, these like robes and all that stuff. The first, the one that was talking about this narration, is apparently his name is Scoratus of the Four Sages. And the next one that we see, let's see, is one that we all probably be more familiar with, Jesus Christ. So,
oh yes, Jesus.
Yeah. So it seems like after many months or years of speculation, whether or not I believe there have been discussions in the Record of Ragnarok world. Let's see about whether or not Jesus exists, and it seems like he does. And apparently, it's the four, and he appears to be one of the four sages, which is apparently in. It's apparently some sort of Chinese philosophy. Apparently, let's see.
Yeah.
Apparently, in China, it's supposed to be Yan He, the Confucius's favorite disciple, Sengi or Zheng Sheng, Shishi or Kongji, or Mikinus or Master Meng. Sorry if I pronouncing these like horrifics as pretty wrong, though. I'm looking at the Wikipedia, though. Perhaps I should look at the wiki of Record of Ragnarok, since that would probably have more relevant,
It has some things. I think it's just, I mean, because I'm on that site right now. But I mean, it's only like really quick summaries of everything.
Yep. So, four sages, apparently. Gods, god fighters, four sages, and hold on, let me just let's see. Let me just find Jesus's wiki page on this wiki. Four sages. Let me just see if they. Apparently, the four sages are a group of influential philosophers, if you will.
Yeah.
And the third one is Confucius, who goes about this saying about reply evil with evil. And he seems to be very excited about the fight. Not really the behavior you expect from a sage.
Right. Yeah.
Let's see. Though granted, depending on which, let's see, so all that stuff. So yeah. So these sages are like philosophers. So it seems that I don't know if Jesus is the son of God in like in the manga, but let's see. But hold on, I'm just typing up. Let's see, the four great sages of the world. Let's see, but yeah. But either way, I probably should move on to this because I'm probably wasting time just going on about these 4 sages. So yeah. So yeah. So after Sirafoku gets up after being kicked. We can see Sirafoku is getting miserable and all that stuff, and as we see, his weapon grows bigger with every attack. However, Sirafoku is dodging, with some spectators, such as Gole, asking, is the axe alive or something?
Right.
However, each attack that Sirafoku does, Buddha keeps dodging them, and each time he gets more and more miserable. We'll see. With the guards wondering if this is going to be all right, or with some even wondering if Bushi Moten should have been a better choice for this fight. However, the giant weapon seems to grow bigger and bigger, and it seems to it starts to scare humans and gods, if you will. And I think the woman and the kid from the flashback from Sirafoku might actually be there.
Possibly. It wouldn't be surprising all that much if
because spectators from people's lives tend
to be there. Yeah. Yeah, spectators from their lives and I guess important figures within the grasp of the deity, I guess. Whatever. Yeah.
As Ares notices that the weapon's gotten bigger, though, let's see. Zeus explains that his axe absorbs misery, and the more miserable he gets, the larger it is, otherwise known as and that's why it's got the name Misery Cleaver. With Hermes commenting this is the first time he's seeing this, as it got so much bigger, he ends up striking, causing much more damage. Heck, it even damages the spectators, as you will, and everyone going the guards are longer watch where you're aiming that thing. Let's see. And apparently, according to Bullenhide, since Buller keeps dodging his attacks, this is making him miserable, so it's making it much larger and larger and larger.
Yep.
Let's see. Anyway, but Buddha keeps dodging. So Bullenhide then eventually explains to Gully that he's not really actually dodging them. He's actually sort of he's able to tell his attacks, and apparently it's not like the ultimate prediction that Sasaki Kojin can do against Poseidon. He's actually able to see the future, as he calls it, as she calls it, future vision. So this is the third sort of eye technique you see for the humans, since Adam had the eyes of the Lord. He could copy every move they do. Let's see, and Sasaki and Koji can predict every attack that his opponent's going to do. While Buddha has the pure enlightenment, the 8th conscious, so he's able to see a bit in the future of where someone's going to strike. Eventually, Buddha making his second hit with his staff thing. And it ends up hitting him in the head. Let's see. Now, apparently, Buddha can only see a moment ahead, according to Bullenhide. So it's not like he can see far, far into the future, just a few seconds before it happens, if you will. With Gully cheering Buddha on. With Buddha eventually revealing the power to Sirafoku. With Sirafoku getting so miserable, he's going this is cheating! Ah! As he gets more and more angrier.
You cheater.
And you see the human spectators, including the 4 sages, cheer him on. Let's see. As Sirafoku gets more and more jealous and jealous, as he ends up cursing the same word over and over again. To the point he got so miserable that... Let's see. Buddha sees a future in which he cannot dodge this attack. And it ends up being so miserable that he summons such a giant multiple axe with all these different cleavers, as you will. I think it's called this. Let's see. It's multiple cleavers in one, and He launches it directly at Buddha, and there's no way he's able to dodge it. However, Buddha ends up revealing his own weapons ability, the Six Realms. And he creates a shield that is able to block, the attack, as he calls it the Ashura Realm 11-face cannon. As Buddha makes a mockery joke about how he'll help Sirafoku with puberty, with Sirafoku just getting more angry with Buddha.
Right.
So we've got that. Anyway, as everyone's shocked in the next chapter about Buddha blocking the attack. Let's see, and all that stuff. As Bullahide explains to Goli what the weapon the staff he actually has, the Six Realms staff, if you will. And let's see, and you probably might recall this from Naruto. It's the six paths, if you will. Six realms: the Fire Realm, the Ashura Realm, the Petra Realm, the Inferno Realm, the Animal Realm, and the Human Realm. The six path, like Naruto had the six paths, the sage, and all that stuff. So this is what his weapon is based off of. Yes, I said a Naruto reference there. I know.
Oops. How dare you? This is a Record of Ragnarok seminar, not a Naruto seminar.
I know, but heck. They're using the same mythology for their own abilities in this manga and all that stuff.
Sage of Six Paths.
Yeah. So yeah, Record of Ragnarok's using the same six realms, like what Naruto did with the Rinnegan for its abilities. But yeah, as Buddha goes on about how he'll help him with puberty and all that stuff, as he pushes the giant cleaver back. However, let's see, Sirivoko changed this to a long, spiky sword, if you will, I guess, with like a sword with like 1,000 other swords coming out of it.
Thousands of other swords.
Yeah, as Buddha changes his staff to a new weapon, the Six Realm staff, Second Realm, Animal Realm, the Horse-Faced Cannon, Nirvana, and he ends up using it to well, actually, he slides underneath Sirafoku and trips him.
Right.
So, yeah. As Hermes explains what, Buddha did to, like, Ares and all that stuff, about how he got him range to counter him while withholding his attack, and then striking him from the back of you, right? But see, as Goli is excited about what Buddha has done, though she's questioning what kind of feeling did he have to, turn the staff into that weapon. With Bullahide talking about it's so like him, how he lives his life as he pleases, and nobody holding him down. As he describes Buddha as the history's strongest adolescent. With Goli questioning what that is, as we go back to the flashback as we go to the ancient North India Kalapatasu. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing this wrong, but let's see, we're getting Buddha's flashback as we see him sparring with some, dude with a sword who's congratulating him for his technique. As at this time, he is called Gautama Siddhartha. Sorry if I mispronounced this name wrong, everyone. As we all know, Buddha was I'm not sure how much of you know of Buddhism, Mangareader, but the Buddha was like a prince first before he got a glimpse of the world and then left that kind of life behind to find enlightenment and all that stuff.
Yeah, I obviously wasn't. I mean, I've had world studies of sorts like that, so I do know quite a bit of Buddhism, but obviously I don't study it that much to know every nook and cranny of the history.
But yeah, he got all the best clothing, the best food, the best lifestyle, education, all that stuff that his father seems to proud that he's grown into a fine young man. Let's see, Shudo Hano and all that stuff. As it's
Would
revealed
surprise me.
As it was revealed in another, let's see, flashback within a flashback, if you will, that when Buddha was born, apparently some priests or whatever, like the people around him are saying, is that this boy would become the gods have dictated that this boy would become the greatest among humanity and the one that shall come to rule the world. Well, to be fair, he is the only, from what we can tell, he's the only human besides Heracles to become a god. Though granted, seems to have become a god all by himself, not but from the help of other gods, if you will.
Yeah.
So anyway, we see the prince that would later become Buddha. Let's see, helping people out, giving them food and all that stuff, being nice. Everyone loves him and all that stuff. Though one day he seems to notice like a bird flying in the sky before being killed by another bird, a vulture, I believe. As I think this was Buddha first saw how. Let's see, I think that was probably Buddha's first witness of death, I guess, or at least the first time in a while. And he's doing it while relaxing on the edge of his castle, lying down, which people tell him to get down from there. And he apologized for that as he goes to visit the ancient North India Mala, one of the 16 Mahajinpandas. Sorry if I pronounced the name wrong, but he's going to another palace where he meets what he refers to as Jakata, his big brother. Now, granted, he seems to be unfeeling well. Let's see. So, the king of Mala, Jakata, I think it is. I don't know. I gotta take a look at this. Let me just Jakata. From what I can tell from what the wiki is Jakata is actually the name of the stories concerning Buddha's previous lives. So this seems to be more of an original interpretation from the manga than an actual accurate history, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
So they're enjoying their walk, and they're talking about how despite not being blood related, they're close to each other, or they're cousins of sorts. However, let's see. Buddha's just talking about how happy he is to help everyone, and he must assume that his brother is the same, if you will. However, his brother reveals that he's not really all that happy, because he's just succumbing to his illness, but he has never and he's only taken like happiness from the people to consideration. Though unfortunately, he's never known if he's led the life he wanted to, if you will, I guess you could say. As he wonders if he's actually living his life or someone else's life.
Yeah.
Everything was handed to him, if you will. And he's just wondering what the world outside is and all that stuff. So, which makes, Buddha, question what he's saying. But he jokes aside and saying that, sorry, that was uncool of me to say all that. Just forget about it. However, he eventually passed away, and we can see that Buddha is upset as he goes across many people who are praying, telling him to rest in peace. Though Buddha starts to think about the words that his brother said, if you will, and he goes he's wondering whose life I was living, with everything was handed to me, as he's thinking of everything that's gone with his own life, if you will. It's apparently at this moment that Buddha reaches enlightenment, and he awakens the eyes that can, the eighth eyes, if you will, the future vision, if you will. As Buddha starts to get off and he starts laughing, with spectators wondering if he's gone mad with Greek, as Buddha realizes he's got enlightenment, as we see that his brother Jaku is, an altar funeral, getting the most expensive altar you can find, with Buddha's father wondering where his son has gone off to. However, Buddha eventually appears. He comes in and starts spreading flowers all over the place, with people being shocked at this sort of behavior and asking him to restrain himself. As Buddha ends up came to collecting him, with everyone shocked at what he's doing, because, well, to be fair, most would probably find this disrespectful behavior. Though for the first time, Buddha ends up saying the words, "Shut up," as he escorts as he tells him that he's got happiness right here. As Buddha places him in a stream and tells him to go, find happiness. Go find happiness for himself. As his cascade flows to the stream, and from what we can tell, he seems to be smiling in this moment. But after this moment, Buddha's left the castle, abandoning his wife and child, as everyone's trying to tell him to come back here and all that stuff. As he went away to find, enlightenment and all that stuff. As we see where he goes with helping a person who is dying from hunger, though this monk or some sort of priest, I can't tell, saying telling him not to help the man, as his suffering shall purify his mind. However, Buddha offers him some milk porridge, with the guy saying, "Do not feed him. This is part of his trial, if you will." However, Buddha tells him to shut up, as he's telling him he's feeding him because he wants to.
Mm-hmm.
Then later we see him resting by a tree, which I assume is supposed to be the tree that, he's supposed to have meditated for 20 years or something. I think that's the mythology around it. Well, that's the story behind it.
I think it has something to do with it.
But yeah, with others asking, are you sure we should be relaxing like this? This isn't how we're supposed to be trying to find enlightenment and all that stuff. However, he tells them to shut up, it's fine. Then we see him rescue a girl that's about to be sacrificed to the gods. But he saves her and says, tells them to shut up, and he wants to save her. And if the gods want to come after him, he'll go and do it himself. As we go back to the present, and Buddha and Brulahide reveals that to Buddha, it doesn't really matter whether it's a god or man. For those who try to deny him his own internal happiness and impose fate upon him, he has nothing but absolute hatred for them. God is saying, right, so is this the only reason why he's fighting against the gods?
Huh. Yeah.
The reason he's fighting against the gods because he's being adolescent and he wants to.
Right.
And he doesn't really want to destroy humanity, so he's defying the gods by doing this and all that stuff. So we get his reasons of why he wants to help humanity. It's partly because he doesn't want the gods telling him to kill humanity.
Yeah.
As he ends up doing one more mockery about how Sirifoku is are you done with your temper tantrum? As Sirifoku gets more and more angrier. That ends chapter 47, so we move to 48 as they continue to clash with each other. And no matter what Sirifoku does, he just can still not hit him, even when he changes his weapon into dual blade swords, if you will, that are connected.
Oh, yes.
As Buddha changes to his own new weapon, to his divine realm, wish-granting wheel cannon, Loka Pala, the 12 Diva axe. From what I looked at the wiki, actually, there's no name for the sword transformation. It's just a sword transformation. So the two weapons clash, and Buddha's able to block it. So as they continue, fighting, but Buddha's future vision keeps making him dodge the attacks and even hit Sirifoku now and then. As Sirifoku gets more and more miserable as he decides to getting more angry with Buddha. He goes be gone from this world as as his weapon changes to a new form, the Misery Storm Cleaver formation. As you got all these wonky blades, coming out like it's in the formation of a spine, if you will. and a rib cage, if you will, if I was to describe it. A hail of blades as the narration goes on. Now, Buddha just goes like his puberty is just too much fun. As he changes the weapon again to like, let's see, the staff goes to the second realm, the human realm, the unshakable cord cannon, the Ashakaya, indestructible Vayaja sword. And he just slices the blades himself, which is pretty cool, if you will. Let's see. As Sirafoku continues to destroy more of the spectators, everyone's mocking him by saying, "Sirafoku, you nitwit, stop hitting us!" While some of the audience is now starting to run away, but Buddha defends them before the blade starts attacking them. With many of the audience that's like, "He saved us," particularly humans, going like, "Buddha, Buddha, Buddha, Buddha." Though one of the sages is going on about how playing to the crowd here, always a tease Buddha. I've kind of noticed that Jesus doesn't really say anything when it comes to these other four sages. Well, another goes like, "The virtues of man will not long remain lonely, I suppose." Anyway, as Buddha and Sirafoku continue to clash, Buddha's getting more and more angry as more of the people and the spectators are praising him. Even the gods, who are still angry at Buddha, are still saying that he's impressive. As Sirafoku continues to get more angry about how it's always Buddha, Buddha, Buddha. It's wondering, why is everyone looking at him and not looking at Buddha and not looking at him for once? As Buddha, let's see, dodges this attack one more time. As Buddha ends up saying the words, "One's is truly one's own master." As Buddha tells Zero, "You gotta love yourself." And all that stuff. As Zero is like confused by this. Mangareader, you here? Or are you away right now? You might probably be away.
What? I'm here.
Oh, sorry. You're just so quiet.
I mean, you're kind of telling the story as is. I can't really stop you at this point.
Fair enough. But as Sirafoku is confused, let's see what Buddha's saying. But Buddha ends up telling him that he actually really likes Sirafoku. Let's see. Sirafoku is like confused at this at first and asking like, "I quit messing with him." But however, he ends up looking directly at Buddha and see that he's being completely honest, as he seems to finally get what Buddha has always been trying to disclaim with him, as Buddha realizes that he always wanted to be just like Buddha, as Sirafoku's cleaver starts to shrink and disappear, as all that's left is just a handle. He wanted to be loved, as he realized that he wants to be loved by everyone. However, the gods are a bit surprised by his cleaver, as his misery has gone, and he's lost the source of his power, if you will. With the gods saying, like, he's unarmed now. However, Buddha ends up saying that he's got a real nice look in his face right now, as he gets rid of drops his own weapon, and he decides that they'll pick off and they'll continue this fight as in a fist fight, if you will. So, bare knuckles. With everyone confused of why he's doing this, though the four sages seem to realize what he's doing.
Yep.
However,
we all thought it was over.
Yeah. Let's see. Sirafoku goes to him, just confused, saying that he's just some human. But he seems to finally understand what Sirafoku was saying about reaching enlightenment with him. As the two start fighting, as Sirafoku realizes that Buddha understands him better than anyone, as you get spectators from both humans and the gods cheering both, Sirafoku and Buddha on, hoping that neither of them lose and all that stuff, or rooting for one or the other. But anyway, as Sirafoku is exchanging fist fights, he's right now experiencing true happiness. And if you will, Shirofuku has finally, I suppose as the narration describes, redeemed himself or found enlightenment. As Shirofuku eventually gets punched in the face, and it looks like, let's see, Shirofuku's out cold, and it looks like the match has ended.
It looks indeed.
5 chapters in, or maybe 3 chapters technically, as you got 2 with the opening introduction chapters, if you will. It looks like the fight is over. So we think as we get to chapter 49, and this is where more of the shocking twists and turns start to begin. As humans are seemingly celebrating, Buddha's supposed victory. As people start to notice that Shirofuku has gone back to his original form, as the horns from his head have come off, and his black hair has turned back to white. But it seems like, regardless, Shirofuku is happy with the result, even though he's lost the fight and all that stuff. And we end up seeing Okudi Shoujo and Sasaki Kojiro again amongst the spectators, happy that the fight is now over.
Yeah.
As Shirofuku says, he'll truly believe again. However, the horns that Shirofuku has start twisting and turning, if you will.
Plot twist.
As Shirofuku is talking about how he just wanted to make people happy again, he'll try to love himself. So it looks like Shirofuku is about to forfeit the match, if you will. However, his now twisty turning horns are now drilling themselves inside Shirofuku. With Buddha even shocked with going on, it seems the horns have possessed him. As the horns start to grow out, and then, how to describe, piercing them way inside his mouth and the hole in his chest. As everyone is, both God and human, are shocked by this, and Valkyrie. As he seems to, as Shirofuku is, like pleading, I don't want, as a new voice comes out of him saying, I yearn for. And then 2 dragons come out of his mouth and chest and all that stuff. And are sort of flying the sky and stuff, and then coming right back into Shirofuku as Buddha tries to help him, but all that stuff, but it's too late. And he's been consumed in some sort of spear, as everyone is just questioning what's going on and all that stuff. With Aphrodite saying how this is an unsightly look. And it looks like something is coming out of it, like it's hatching from an egg, if you will. With everyone shocked, as Buddha ended up leaping back about how apparently because his reflex were telling him that, because he could not actually for the first time ever see what was coming. And comes out as this giant monster like man, as Buddha ends up asking, who is he? For the first time, it seems Buddha can see nothing, and we end up changing the scene to the door with a fly in it, if you will, as we see some sort of laboratory and all that stuff.
Oh, who is this?
As someone narrates that Shirofuku has changed form for the second time, no, the third time. As he's wondering, so that's what became of that. As he says, it's intriguing, and we end up being introduced to one of the other fighters for the gods, Beauzerb, who appears to be this young man in a sort of black leather coat, looking like he's some sort of scientist, as you will.
Ah, yes.
As he ends up describing white and black shadows blending, the horns of the netherworld shall awaken in eternal darkness, be reborn. The berserker from the legends of the netherworld, the demon the demon lord of the sixth heaven, Hyojin. As he ends up as he's staring down at Buddha, saying divine retribution. Well, that was a bit of a twist. Buddha, let's see, Shirofuku changing into this entirely new demon, if you will. From what I can tell, as he was this being called Hyojin.
Hyojin? Yeah.
Yeah, he seems to be some sort of demon from what it's described. He's from the Buddhist pantheon, and from what the trivia describes, in Buddhism, Hyojin is the demon lord who tried to stop Buddha from reaching enlightenment. Though granted, when I do a Google search of Hyojin, I don't really see anything about this except for the name Hyojin appearing in this wiki called Shinzo Basho, which I think is some sort of fighting manga anime series. So, but it seems to be Hyojin is apparently, from what the Google says in the meaning, what mythology is Hyojin from? It's apparently some Chinese mythology. Hyojin is Chinese for the name Mara, a demon from Buddhist mythology. Fair enough. So, in a sense, Buddha has gone from facing a Mangareader, you weren't in the stream for a second there.
Yeah, sorry, something kicked me out for a minute. I'm like, what the heck?
Okay. So from what I can tell, Hydrogen, it seems to be some demon from Buddhist mythology that tried to stop Buddha and all that stuff. So Buddha's gone from fighting a god that needed to find enlightenment to like a demon that tries to prevent him from enlightenment and all that stuff, if you will, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's an interesting twist. Now, there we go.
Hyojin, aka
To chapter 50, and a dark cloud, surrounds the stadium, if you will.
Oh God.
Let's see. With goalie going like, "What the heck is this thing?" With asking her sister Brulahide, who seems to be shocked herself and on her knees, as she reveals she has no idea what this is. So for the first time ever, the eldest of the Valkyrie has no idea what is standing in front of them, which shocks even her younger sister. Brulahide. Goalie is shocked. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you brought it up or not, but apparently, based on trivia, this guy is from Buddhism.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay, I thought so. Yep. All right. That might have been what I missed.
So you must have missed that.
Yeah.
With Buddha asking what this strange Hyojin happened to Zero, though he says he's gone, as he reveals himself to be Hyojin.
Damn.
As Buddha's confused about what he means and is asking, "Who are you?" Though he says he does not know himself, though he says the thing he wants to try the most is try out these powers now. With Loki seemingly is shocked by asking that this thing has started and is asking Odin what the heck is going on here. With Ares even shocked, and it seems like Zeus is a bit spooked, with Ares asking Hermes what this thing is, and is it even a god? Though apparently Hermes himself also has no idea, so the two characters in which, often used to explain who this god is or who this human is, have no idea what this is. It's very interesting to finally have someone that are two walking dictionaries or encyclopedias have no idea what it is. Though an unknown voice comes walking and says that it's no god, and this figure seems to shock Ares, as he questions why he's here. Though, this person says, "How long are you going to keep sitting there?" As he declares that that's his seat, while Ares is so spooked by what he says. He says, "Yes, sir," as this elegant figure ends up sitting down, if you will, and to reveal to be none other than the Greek god Hades, king of the underworld, if you will.
Yeah.
So Hades has finally made his appearance.
Yep.
He looks like one of those rich gentlemen you kind of see in like the steampunk anime, I guess you could say, if I was to describe it. And he seems to have some sort of, eye patch, covering his right eye, if you will. And he looks much younger than Zeus, just like Poseidon did.
Yeah, that's always interesting as to what the why Zeus looks like what he does.
Yeah, he's the younger brother, but yet he looks like the older brother. With Hermes being respectful and greeting him and all stuff, is wondering like what's come up, and then asking what is like why he's come to Valhalla. And he mentions how he heard and Hades' response. He heard that his younger brother lost, which appears to terrify Hades, while Hermes remains silent about this. As Hades says, he finds this hard to believe that Poseidon was killed, but let's see that Poseidon was killed, which makes me wonder. Let's see. It'll be very interesting to see if Hades ends up meeting Sasaki Kojin, since he's the one who killed Poseidon.
Right.
That would be an interesting interaction. However, Zeus. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say, yeah, we'll see if they actually interact.
Yeah. However, Zeus doesn't really care about, well, let's see, Poseidon and all that stuff. So he's asking, like, he's asking, like, so he gets to the point. Okay, you said this is no god, then you know what this is, right? Now, Hades just comments how his little brother hasn't changed at all and tells him to calm down.
Little brother.
Let's see. Hades goes on and explains that this being is the legendary berserker spoken of in Hela hymns since ancient times. And this oops, dropped my phone. Nearly landed in my water, but thank goodness it didn't.
Oops.
Let's see. That would be a nightmare.
It would have been.
Though, let's see. Ares is spooked by the words of Helheim, and apparently across all mythologies, it is a common theme of a three-layered world. The one at the top is the world of gods and all that stuff, Valhalla, or heaven, if you will. The world in the middle is where humans and animals live, Midgard or Earth, depending on which mythology. And there's one more layer, the one at the bottom, as we know, is Hell, the demon world, and the Ni no Kuni land of origins, among other names. But, of all things evil, let's see, the Netherworld, or Helheim, or Hell, if you will.
Yep.
So all the different names people say of Hell, or sometimes even call it Hades, Tartarus, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. As Hades explains about the legend goes, as a white light and black shadows bleeding, the horns of the Netherworld shall awaken, and eternal darkness shall be born, otherwise called the demon lord of the sixth heaven, Hygiene. With Hermes saying that, in other words, Hades has something to do with this legend, though. Hades says even though he's the ruler of Hell, he has never seen it before, which shocks Ares of stuff. So Hermes is asking what led, a meager god. Let's see. I guess Hermes is insulting Zerafoka at this point. How a meager god from Valhalla to become, the demon Hygiene. Though Hades questions that he wants to know himself. As we cut back to, Buddha and Hygiene, as he says he's not used to this, as he grows out a sword from his arm, if you will. As he says he may end up finishing this in an instant, as he's about to take a stab at Buddha, though Buddha blocks the attack. He seems surprised about it. Though Buddha says that you don't look surprised. No, Gully seems to think that Buddha should be okay since he can still see the future, right? Though Billahide says that it seems that's not the case. It looks like Buddha is not able to see the attacks coming. As she explains that Buddha is able to see. Let's see. As Buddha is not as Hygiene is nothing but complete darkness and there's no light in him. As she explains that the eyes that Buddha has, is to put it more technically, Buddha's eight consciousness is able to see the functions of the soul, if you will. since use as an example, like whenever a person decides a course of action, such as finding water, the soul moves before the body, if you will.
Yep.
Or the brain thinks of it before the body does.
Yeah.
So Buddha's able to see where the soul's going, and he's able to, let's see, what will happen next. As we see him capturing a bunny, he looks like he's about to eat. However, Hyjin's soul has no light in him, so it's completely black, so he cannot see it. So Buddha cannot use his future vision, so he's starting to get maimed and damaged. As Buddha tries his best to block it and dodge. As eventually Hyjin decides to go at maximum power, as he ends up saying the words divine retribution and uses a move called the heaven piercing demon drill as he turns his arm into a giant drill.
Oh, drills. Drills in Japanese culture.
Fair enough.
People would know.
Do you care to explain a bit?
Just Gurren Lagann.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Drill. Giga, drill, a breaker.
Anyway, Buddha pops up his shield this time to block it. The impact is so powerful it blows everyone back a bit. But as we see, the shield had no effect, didn't really truly fully block it, as we see a hole pierced through it, and we see that Buddha has lost one of his eyes in that attack. As Hyjin turns into a very nasty, smiling-looking face, going, "Ah, too bad. Your shield didn't work, if you will." As Buddha has now lost one of his eyes. In many ways, this kind of panel reminds me of when Poseidon was mocking Sasajin Kojin when he was saying, "I thought you could predict my moves." In a much more nastier way, in a nastier phase.
Masochistic.
So that ends chapter 50. As we go to chapter 51, as we go back to Beauzerb, as he's talking about what he did and all that stuff. As he simply wanted to see what sort of flowers would grow from that beautiful soil, apparently. As he says, anyone would have been fine with. As the sages and the priests are all shocked, and all the monks are in tears about what's happened to Buddha. As Heimdall comments about Buddha's eye and it seemed being pierced out. As Buddha's changed back to the staff's regular form. With the gods watching on and all that stuff. Now, apparently, the agent says that you managed to dodge this as he was aiming straight through his head, if you will. Though he caught the eye in the last second. But anyway, it seems like Hyjin transforms his arm into a sort of axe blade again as he's about to attack Buddha, but Buddha transforms into his sword from before. With Loki commenting as they start to clash, let's see that it looks like, Buddha's eye is done for. So Buddha's left side is wide open. He says this is lame.
Of course it would be.
So, but as the fight continues, let's see, Buddha's changing stance and all that stuff, with the sages getting excited about it. So it looks like the melee appears to be evenly matched as they clash, but Hyjin keeps going on about divine retribution. Let's see, though.
Divine retribution.
Let's see, with Ares eventually going how he's leading Buddha by the nose. What strength? Just what the hell is he? Though Hades goes on about how he doesn't expect someone like Ares to understand the situation. As he talks about how Hyjin's strength is on a magnitude of which many gods can't even hold a candle to. But anyway, he goes to explain that he's a genuine monster, said to have destroyed half of Helheim long ago. Which seems to shock Ares, as that seems to be impossible. Or, as Hades says, it's better to say that he left half of it, half destroyed and all that stuff. As according to legend, one day after wreaking havoc, across Helheim, Hygen suddenly vanished, and many months and years have passed, and he's never again re-emerged. So at this point, he became So at this point, Hades believed he was just a fairy tale being at this point, long before he became the ruler of hell, if you will. With Hermes asking, so why is he here now? As he says, the only explanation he can think of is that someone required the little detritus that was left of Hygen and cultivated through some unknown methods and formed it into something like seeds. And then took those seeds of Hygen and planted them into Sirofoku, as we see from Beauzerb's lab. He's like experimenting, creating like this sort of like parasitic demon, and then he sort of like puts it inside Sirofoku's ear, I think, or at least behind his head, as it grows into like the horns from the back of him. And from what we can tell, it looks like Sirofoku was very young when he did this.
Yeah, that's interesting, to be honest. Like, it's kind of, I don't know, that's weird. And I'm not saying this now for out of the blue, but it's like, wait a minute, gods actually age? I thought they kind of just got to pick their appearance.
I guess, but yeah.
That's just interesting to know that Sirofoku, who was relatively young anyway when he looked like it, was somehow even younger.
Yeah. Well,
That's all.
No, let's see. No, this seems to shock even the gods at this. Let's see at this explanation. With Hades says, "Who would do something like this?" With Hades guessing that there's only one person he can think of, and it has to be him and all that stuff.
Beelzebub.
As Ares is confused who it is, but let's see. Hermes figured out, yeah, it's got to be him. It's Beelzebub.
Yep.
So anyway, as we see him drinking something and saying, like, as he says, so this is what happens when the soil is good. It seems Beelzebub is just enjoying the works of his progress, if you will. But yeah, as the fight continues, Buddha gets stabbed in the foot, and then nearly gets slashed at, though he manages to dodge it in the end. With humanity starting to give up again, it's like, we're done for. Buddha's toast. This Hygen guy is too strong. With like the gods not knowing who this Hygen guy is, but are happy that Buddha is losing and saying serves him right and all that stuff, and tell him to keep the pressure, if you will. Let's see. With Hygen saying that Buddha has no chance left, so surrender to his divine retribution. The Buddha Hirsi is wondering that since he keeps repeating this, so he's wondering if that means Sirofoku's in there, so he's asking Zero to come out. However, Hygen says he mocks this third-rate runt and starts laughing, and he reveals that he has actually consumed him a long time ago. And this apparently shocks Buddha, telling him that that there's no need to worry about this. As he starts to mock like Sirofoku as a third-rate god. He ends up saying, "Oh, he cried tears of joy as I consumed him." Though Buddha, for the first time ever, is angry, tells him to shut up, and he's so angry with the shut up that it seems to scare just about everyone: the Heimdall, the monks, and everyone, and the spectators from the humans, and all the gods. But just how angry Buddha sounds. But Buddha, as the whole audience has been stunned into silence. Now, Buddha says this makes things just a lot more easier, as Buddha describes that you are Buddha effing dead, if you will. Let's see, as I quote. Apologies for the implied cursing there, people. As Buddha changes his staff to like, as the sixth realm staff transforms according to Buddha's emotions, it ends up turning to the fifth realm, the Petra realm. Though apparently, let's see, the narration says, however, the emotion at the front of Buddha's mind in this instance was one thought to be rejected long ago as poison, hatred. the holy canon. So the staff has changed into a form that not even Buddha has seen, as the spectators are kind of shocked by this. And this weapon is called the Salakalas, the Scythe of the Wild God, as it seems to be the scythe with some sort of dragon's head, from what I can tell. Let's see, Loki seems excited by this new form. With Ares is shocked by such an eerie form. With Hermes commenting that this doesn't seem to be a weapon fitting of Buddha, though Zeus is excited. With Hades commenting that he seems to intend to end this in one blow. Let's see, Hydron mocking, Buddha one more time. As he comments about how it feels so good to unleash, divine retribution as the supreme being he is and all that stuff. So they start to attack each other one more time, as Buddha uses a move called Karma Destroying Salasma Cycle. However, Hydron blocks the attack and says he's too slow. As Hydron dodges the attacks, keeps dodging his attacks at the end, with Golly thinking that it's over. And eventually, however, Buddha ends up using another move, calling the Karma Destroying Salasma Cycle at Ethano, as from the dragon's mouth, it seems like an explosion is poured out, like it's a dragon breath, if you will, to speed up his attack. And for the first time, Hydrogen has been hit in the arm, though he seems to have blocked it with turning his arm into some sort of shield thing. No, but as we see from here, Buddha's stomach has been hit at the same time, shocking, the two Valkyries, the four sages, and the two, and Ochiko Sachigo, the member of the Shinsigami that came to assist Buddha.
Yes.
Even the gods are a bit shocked from this attack, as it looks like Buddha now looks like he's going to die, with Hydron asking if he has any last words. Though Buddha says, then let me repeat myself. If the gods won't save them, I will. As he starts to press forward, as the monks and the Valkyrie are shocked at what Buddha is doing, as he keeps coming in closer, as he ends up saying quite close directly at Hydrogen's face, and if any god gets in my way, I will kill them. As he comes quite close, and it looks like he's pressing in his own scythe into the arm and all that stuff to try and damage Hydrogen, as he seems shocked by Buddha's words. So that ends chapter 59. And at this point, I'm starting to wonder if Buddha and Hydron will both die at the time, possibly making the first draw, which would be very interesting if that was the case. Now, before we get to the spoiler of what the actual outcome of this fight is, Hydron's Hydron is starting to get annoyed, with a Buddha's, scythe attack, as he pulls out. As Hydron thinks about, even after being stabbed in the stomach, he's still standing and all that stuff. And he's just wondering how Buddha's able to stand with this energy, and how he's able to stand taller after all the damage he's taken. With Buddha starting to ask Hydron is, are you scared? With him starting to get a bit annoyed with him, saying, what do you mean? You're saying I'm afraid of you? Don't get full of yourself and yourself. As he goes on about how he's the supreme being. As he comments about how he will surpass his past self, as we get glimpses of him destroying hell at that time. Though we seem to see that his body is... No, from what we can tell, the reason why he suddenly stopped is that his body started to fall apart as he cannot withstand his incredible strength. And he seemed to have died at the end. With Hydron going about how I will never fear the likes of him. That Buddha says he knows that he's actually weak. And he goes about how he's way weaker than Zero. And this seems to shock Hydron, though he starts to laugh. However, he starts to attack him again as the fight continues. With the as we start to get to the gritty back to like the spectators with like all the Buddhas and monks that you go like word for Buddha and all that stuff as they're praying for him, if you will. With the Valkyries, also supporting Buddha right now. Anyway, we cut to the gods as Ares says how he can't see his future vision and he's sustained fatal injuries. So it seems to be over already. Though Hades ends up saying, I swear, what a fool. Hades seems to be thinking that, yeah, Buddha is a fool, but it seems to be, but it pains him to see this. No. Hades says, no, I'm not talking about Buddha. I'm saying you are a fool, Ares.
Oh, Ares, always getting dumped on.
Yeah, he's like the punching bags for the gods here. As he tells him that Buddha's if he should look at Buddha's eyes, he's clearly not given up yet. He says that as Hermes says, yeah, says he does have his eyes on it, with even Zeus agreeing that yes, his eyes have it on it indeed. A one-shot comeback that Sashima move, if you will. As I do like how Zeus seems to be excited about this possible comeback from Buddha. Despite the fact that if Hygiene wins, that's another win for the gods and all that stuff. Anyway, we cut to Buddha as he starts to dodge more attacks and blocking them, with Hygiene starting to wonder, how can he still stand? As it revealed that, yeah, Hygiene is actually afraid for the first time, and I think he's even got his foot stabbed. With Hygiene questioning, like, how is he afraid? He's the supreme being. As he goes, nay, 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 as he grabs his own arm and rips it off. And I think he merges it again with his body to draw out this giant, demon sword, though actually, well, he's only got one arm now, but he's replaced it with a giant sword. As he once again declares he's, the demon lord of the sixth heaven. As Buddha goes with his cipher attack cycle again. And Hygiene uses a move called the Blaze of Glory. And it destroys Buddha's cipher, shocking everyone. Heck, I think we even see the second eldest Valkyrie sister again with like Sasaki Kojin, who seems to decide to stay by his side. All that stuff. So it looks like Buddha's weapon is now destroyed. As it reverts back to its original form, as Goli points out, and Hygiene says the divine retribution one more time, seemingly destroying Buddha's staff and a piece of his clothing, as you will. As we see Beauzerb eating what appears to be some fruit and I believe a pear, and tasting about how so succulent, though it might be just more of the carnage that Hygiene has done. With like Goli shocked, saying Buddha. Well, Goli about Brillahide and the Buddhist monks are all praying for him and all that stuff. However, as we cut to Buddha as he's thinking in the darkness, in his own mind, I guess, a light is appearing behind him as an arm grabs him. And Buddha realizes something and starts laughing. This shocks everyone, with Hygiene thinking that Buddha's being pathetic, but as he's gone mad in the face of death. Though Buddha says, you know what it takes to confront your own weakness, to fight against your own experience, and to try and try to overcome it. It takes puberty. You don't have that, and that's why you are weak. As Buddha's saying the words that, as Buddha ends up picking up Zerofuku's cleaver, misery cleaver, or the handle of it. As everyone knows, this is what the weapon is. As Buddha says, let's fight together, Zero, feints intertwine, as Buddha ends up using the technique that we thought only the Valkyrie could do. Divine, as the Volhand, Divine Weapon Lotus Volhand, as we see that Zerofuku's weapon, or let's see, has become a Volhand for, Buddha, and the two have become one now for this fight. As let's see, Guy is wondering what's going on as it's becoming the misery cleaver, though Bullahide reveals that it's not the misery cleaver, and she's crying tears of joy. She's talking about this, saying rather than misery, it's taken in Buddha's compassion, and though fates have intertwined, a new divine weapon has been born. The ultimate divine weapon, one which none but he who has attained the great nirvana in the Pure Lands could create. The great Nivaran sword Zero, as we get this sort of like sword with all these sort of like spikes around it, with these spikes and symbols around it. That looks like some sort of, I guess, something you'd find in a Buddhist temple, I guess, maybe.
Right, yeah.
As Hydron looks shocked, as so does Beauzerb, as Buddha slashes the sword around, and we see the 7 lucky gods behind him and all that stuff. Though Hydron is asking what's going on, though Buddha says, I think you already know, as he says the words divine retribution. And that ends that chapter, as though luckily enough, we got 2 chapters last month, as chapter 53 comes in. As Buddha starts attacking Hydron and all that stuff, and we see the 4 sages cheering. Heck, I think we even see Jesus getting a bit excited now, as throughout the spectators, he's remained calmed for the most part, though sometimes a bit shocked. But you see all the humans going, Buddha, Buddha, Buddha. Heck, I even think we see Buddha's brother, Jakku, I think, and I think we see his father and his wife, and I think even his son there. Like, all the spectators and all that stuff, so... Last, all the spectators from the all the humans from the flashback are shown to be spectators and all that stuff. As everyone's praying for Buddha to, become victorious and all that stuff. As it's like all a stream flowing into him, and as the narration goes, like everyone cried out with all their soul, praying for Buddha's victory. Their chants and cheers carrying them to the hopes of all humanity became one. And like a great river composed of many small streams, they reached Buddha. As Hydron's starting to get more and more frustrated, wondering what's going on with Buddha, wondering how he can smile all that stuff. As Buddha starts to mock him about how scared he seems to be, as he starts slashing and even starting to damage him a bit more, though he's damaged at the same time. We end up cutting to, like, let's see, Kondo and Sakati Ojiro, if you will, as he comments about what's going on, as he seems to be running, as I think Kondo's saying he seems to be running toe-to-toe with him. Though Okaji thinks that he's not sure, but he thinks he may be at a bit of a disadvantage, while Sakati Kojidin seems to think that it looks pretty tight. He can't see out of one eye, and he's got like all those wounds and stuff. But he seems to think that the odds are, you reckon the odds are supposed to be stacked against old Buddha. But it seems like, but from the looks of things, it looks like Buddha's actually winning and all that stuff, as Hydrogen attempts to try another Blaze of Glory attack, though Buddha is able to block it. However, Buddha is able to slash Hydrogen and deflect his attack. Well, Buddha comments how he's, still hasn't got used to the depth's perception and all that stuff. Though Hydrogen seems to be shocked as he's put everything into that attack.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. No, it seems that Buddha will be as the gods comment. It seems to be Buddha will reach the first to reach his limits, but it seems like let's see with Hades Zeus commenting there. It doesn't look like let's see Buddha will be able to take another attack from Hygiene again. Though Hades says that they're being fools, as he doesn't need to take it. All he needs to do is dodge the attack. Ares is of course confused by this. So he's wondering about how he will dodge this. However, as we see, light has returned to as we see a stream of light, Buddha's once again able to use his future vision and dodge Hygien's attacks and all that stuff, as Brotherhide has been able to see that he's begun to see it. Due to the fact that Hygiene has become so scared of, let's see, Buddha, a velvet of light has come up in him and all that stuff, so Buddha's able to, let's see, able to dodge because Hygiene is trembling with fear and all that stuff.
Yep.
As Hygiene keeps going on about how he's the most supreme being and all that stuff, and he's wondering why is he losing and all that stuff. Tries another blaze of glory. It looks like he struck Buddha at this moment, as everyone gets shocked by this. And this big explosion. He thinks that at last I've done it for their win and all that stuff. However, it's revealed that Buddha seems to have done seems to have gone from one place to another view. Well, it's hard to describe. It's like he's become a bit of a ghost for a second there.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's shocked. Apparently, in the world of the exalted sage in narration, unstartled like a lion at the sounds, unsnared like the wind in the net, unsoiled like the lotus in the water, like the horn of the rhinoceros walk alone. However, should you find a companion upon whose soul you can rest yours, as it's revealed that this move is called the Great Reincarnation Sword Zero, and it seems like it goes like across all manner of adversity, bring with joy, walk with him, summarized with walk with him, as this apparently is these words are summarized with the Sutanapta chapter 1. So it seems like thanks to Zero and the Forehand Sword, Buddha was able to dodge at the last minute. As Ritzy, Buddha thinks, Zero, can you see it? That their paths are now walking together and all that stuff. As he ends up using the blade of the Celestial Eye Awakening, the Mapaha Navana, as he strikes Hygen down. And we see a massive pool of blood coming out from Hygen. And this shocks all the gods, except Hades, perhaps. You can see, let's see. I just love the faces they all make.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. Ares, of course, is, let's see. Zeus with the, close-up mouth of shockness. Hades ah! Because it's not often that you see Hades getting shocked. I mean, Hermes being shocked. Yeah. Hades just appears to remain calm. He seems to be the only one that remained calm, while Loki is once again angry because he probably wanted Buddha to lose the most. While Odin looks angry, while the two ravens looked, shocked as they usually do. However, you see Brotherhine and Gutty hugging Gully as they excited. The two Shinsigami police jumping and cheering and all that stuff. And Sachi Kojin smiling with his Valkyrie pumping a fist in the air. As we see Hygen being sliced in half, falling to the ground, with the spectators going yes, he won! Buddha, 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 Buddha! You see the foot stages. You see Buddha's brother figure, if you will, as they're chanting Buddha, Buddha. But Hydron, he's so angry, he says no, damn you, attempts one last attack at the drill. However, his weapon disappears just as he's disintegrating, as he says one more time about how he's the demon lord of the 6 heavens, and disappears. With Buddha now saying, Zero, it's over, as he looks up and he sees Zero walking up as as Zero looks on him smiling, giving him a thumbs up, as him and the other 7 lucky gods disappear into I suppose into the realm of nothingness, really. Because once you die, you turn to dust and become nothingness. And when it comes to Ragnarok, with Buddha starting to laugh and cry, that's saying that it's so damn cool about him, as he tells him, "See you later, Zero," implying that Buddha hopes to see Zero some point again. With Heimdall then announcing as Buddha points his finger into the air, saying, "The winner of round 6 of Ragnarok is the Buddha!" As you hear people cheering, "Buddha, Buddha, Buddha." As it's shown, Purifoku to Hyjin versus Buddha. Match time, 21 minutes and 37 seconds. Deciding move, Mahapari, Nirvana, winner, Buddha. I say 21 minutes. It takes me at least an hour and 50 minutes to describe all this.
Yeah.
And it ended.
Damn.
But that's what happened.
That long, man.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when I guess I describe what goes on in, like, you know.
You're just reading the wiki. Anyone could have done that.
No, actually, I'm reading about 10 chapters.
You could have read the chapters from the Wikipedia. Anyone could have done that.
No, true, but we did do slight commentary in between all that stuff. So, yeah, that's all that happened in, like, you know.
All of that.
6 rounds. So now, to get to the point, round 6. What did you make of it?
Oh, yes, round 6. Well, I guess it started kind of slowly with the backstory, but I think what I told you originally, though, was that it felt like the whole time Buddha was in control until Hyjin showed up. Then it was like, wait a minute, what the heck?
Yeah, for the most part, it looked like for the first time for the human side. Let's see, Buddha was. Due to Buddha, humanity was at the advantage, while the gods were disadvantaged. Though, granted, I guess you could argue Jack the Ripper was at the advantage against, Heracles.
Well, yeah, I mean, mainly through his cunning, but
this is like for the first time. It seems like a god.
Yeah, never had really any type of advantage at any point in time.
Yeah. Let's see.
I guess it was due for it, but also it's probably just a little Japanese bias going on there.
Though, I guess, technically both worship the 7 lucky gods and Buddha, from my understanding.
Although Zirofuku isn't really based on any one particular.
Yeah.
He's kind of an original. What I was reading anyway was that he was kind of more of an original character, more so than anything.
Yeah,
he's loosely based on the 8 pillars and the lucky gods, but
yeah. Let's see. So yeah, and and Buddha, I believe, originates apparently from India.
Yeah, but that was again, I've taken world classes before. Buddhism found prominence in the Eastern countries. Even if it did get founded in India, it kind of became more prevalent in Asian countries. Yeah.
So yeah, that's all that stuff. So so what did you make of the abilities that both the gods displayed, if you will?
I mean, what Zirofukus and Raiju's or Hyuns or
let's start with.
Well, if you wanted to start with Buddha, then fine, I'll start with Buddha. But I was just going to say that the other guys are really kind of your typical antagonistic power-ups.
Enough, I guess.
Rage.
Okay.
But for Buddha, I think I once commented to you midway through the chapters were still ongoing. It's like, oh, hey, he's got Ultra Instinct.
Yeah, it does look like he does have Ultra Instinct.
Which is still a form of enlightenment style.
Yeah. So
this processing, but I guess it's more future vision. Even still, I don't know. It just feels, if anything, this is, I guess, the Adam fight done differently if Adam were to win. or if Adam were a god, then maybe he would have won.
I see. Fair enough.
Well, to let me refute, or just to go into slightly further, yes, I know that Adam's technique was more mimicking, and obviously Buddha's isn't in that regard. Rather, it's predicting the future, if anything like that. But they're both eye powers. So again, one's a god who started in humanity. The other one was just a human based off godhood. So I guess there are some similarities there still.
Fair enough. So what do you make of like both like the characters of Buddha and Zirofoku, and then I guess later Hyjin?
Well, Buddha, I think it just plays pretty much off the do whatever I want situation type thing. Obviously, it's just trying to find inner peace. So,
yeah,
his character is pretty on point, I guess.
Yeah, I have to admit, for me, it's a bit strange that it's a bit of a unique twist of it, because usually I've never seen it like someone that's like trying to find enlightenment and inner peace be someone with such an attitude, I guess you could say.
Well, I mean, if he is the founder of Buddhism, so, or supposedly, I don't know. Obviously, there's not truly 100% real life implications for this series, but
not to mention, this is not really these portrayals are not really accurate of like the actual real life figures and all that stuff.
Of course, I mean, Buddha wasn't a god; he never was a god, and I don't think Buddhism really has a godlike figure. So
yeah, that's what I was
but I mean, I guess if you were gonna make an interpretation of said figure, this would be somewhat probably what I would expect.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I suppose of all the humans in the world, you would think Buddha, who found enlightenment, was enough to be able to become a god, I guess, by himself.
Right.
Stuff.
Which is funny, because it's like Heracles had to do like some random mumbo jumbo to get even godhood from
12 trials, I believe it is.
Yeah, or took ambrosia, got the power of Zeus, and then obviously had to do the trials in order to attain godhood. And here, this guy only finds like inner peace and ascended to godhood.
Yep,
truly immortal.
So there's all that stuff.
So granted, it's kind of interesting how that works.
Yeah. I do like how he's able to anger all the gods with his betrayal. It's like, you half-assed god and all that. You form a human for a god and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like they get so angry with him, particularly Loki and all that stuff. So
yeah. Loki seems to be pretty well, that's actually pretty in mythos, that's actually pretty point on with Loki anyway.
Yeah. So anyway,
as a character.
Yeah.
But as for Hyjin and Zirofoku, again, they're just kind of generic.
Yeah. No, granted, Zirofoku is probably the second original character that this manga has created besides Adamias. So this one is the first one to take a bit of a major role. I guess this is the way the manga wanted it to be, to, okay, I want all 7 lucky gods to fight, let's see, Buddha, but let's see, I've made it strictly clear that it's going to be 1v1, so you know what? Why don't we, let's see, well, technically manga, because there's like a story writer, storyboard planner, and an artist doing all this, so like a collaborative of free from all that stuff. It's like, I know, I'll turn them all into one and all that stuff, so we got that.
That, and I'd imagine, based on how intricate this guy or girl or whoever the artist is draws these figures, I'd imagine drawing a 1v7 was going to be an absolute pain in the ass.
Probably. Though, granted, he's pretty good at detail and all that stuff, though. I do think it is interesting that for the first time ever, we've gotten like a god and a human combatant that actually known each other before the fight, because all of them have not really met each other before.
Nope.
Man. Well, granted, at least Zeus was probably aware of Adam, since he was the first man, and he probably had fun creating him. Well,
I'd imagine Adam had some, maybe I don't know, that they actually kind of sort of kept with the biblical interpretation of Adam, but not really.
Yeah, and let's see, while he was created by God, it was multiple gods from the looks of things.
Who knows about that? But yeah, there wasn't really a trial. It was just
the world of Ragnarok, all gods and mythologies actually happened.
Yeah, everything at once. There's the Greek gods and the Norse god. Yeah, everything happens in Norse gods domain, but it's all it's like the Greek gods are the true masters of the universe.
So at least Zeus has become so powerful that he's regarded as the leading god and all that stuff.
Right.
What I can tell, Odin might be a close second.
Yeah, we don't really know much about Odin since he really doesn't talk.
Yeah, let's see. Though, granted, he actually talked quite. This is probably the first time he's talked since the gods meet, since Loki was pretending to be Thor.
Mm-hmm.
So,
although I don't know how powerful Odin is, because based on Thor's description, Thor is physically more powerful. So maybe he's more powerful, but not in the physical sense.
He's supposed to be the supreme god of Norse mythology and all that stuff.
Yeah, I just always remember in every iteration of Thor mythology, it's Thor's like physically the strongest, but
I do let's see, Odin. Buddha was able to anger Odin so much that he actually got him to talk instead of just the two birds speaking for him.
Right.
So there's that. But yeah, let's see. But I do think it was a bit. But let's see. At first, when Sirafoku, we got his backstory, it's like he's a bit of a. It seems a bit of a whiny little brat in some regards, as Buddha put it, going through puberty, if you will. So at first, I guess many people like this guy doesn't really seem to be giving Buddha much of a fight, but that's not really what the point with Sirafoku was. What the point with Sirafoku is a god that seemed to have, had the best intentions of trying to make everyone less miserable and find them happiness, but did about it the wrong way. Got jealous of Buddha for it. Got corrupted as a result of it. And it's only until starts fighting Buddha does he realize what he was supposed to do, that in order to love yourself and all that stuff, not try and get everyone to love you. You gotta love yourself first and all that stuff. So Buddha was able to give him enlightenment and all that stuff. Now, granted, as I said, the good, bad, or shocking or something, and the shocking, or if you will, from the subtitle. The manga gets to do with a bit of a plot twist in this. Well, besides Buddha saying, "I'm fighting for humanity," is that you get, Sirafoku transform into this demon Hyjin and all that stuff. And I have to admit, while it's shocking and all that stuff, it kind of feels like it came out of nowhere, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, there doesn't feel like any hint of a build-up to this, though I guess you could say, the 7 deadly sins and all that nastiness, I guess, from it. Sirafoku's flashback. So it's once Sirafoku turned back to his nice old self, all that nastiness and all that stuff just grew out into those dragons and then merged with him and all that stuff and consumed him. To make
yeah,
that's the only explanation I can think of, but yeah.
Well, the only other thing would be the fact that, again, because this is Buddha, I guess they wanted to still have even another hint of. Well, every god up to this point has actually followed what their mythology is. So if Buddha wasn't going to be any different in this case, even though he's fighting for humanity, he was still going to. I guess fight his demons, so I guess that's where I guess none of it. You'd have to know what the you'd have to be a follower of Buddhism to really know that could have been a possibility. But yeah, you're probably right in that there could have been a better indication of what this was coming. But
yeah,
At the same time, I don't think it was going to end with neither combatant really. Even though Buddha won, I don't think they were ever going to let it end with someone not dying.
Yeah. So I guess they figured like, okay, they gotta have someone to die, and I guess they figured like, okay, we gotta have but we can't but if we're gonna have Zerofoku redeemed and all that stuff, we gotta replace him with someone else. So I I don't know if this was like a last minute plan or not, but kind of in some ways it kind of feels like it, but at the same time it ends up being used to build up another character, which we'll get to in a minute. So, but yeah, now granted. Well, Hadrian is pretty intimidating from what's been described of him, of destroying half of hell and all that stuff.
Right.
And apparently that he was so strong that his own body could not withstand him, so he was reduced to a little pile of rubble until a certain figure ended up picking him up and stuff. But he's not really that interesting of a character, deep-wise. He's just more of an obstacle for Buddha, if you will.
Yep, like I said, it was basically on the in the yada yada something. It's in mythology, so
yeah.
Last minute planning or not, it's there. So
it does allow. Let's see, but he does allow for Buddha and Zerofoku, who became friends at the end of their fight, to like work together as. Surprisingly, this was one fight I thought we were not going to get a Voland because Buddha was his own god with his own divine weapon. However, being that way in the case, as like Zerofoku's Mysli Cleaver became like a new sort of heavenly sword, if you will, I guess, and they're able to work together to win this fight. Though it's clear that as Hygiene has now died as well. Zerofoku's spirit, along with the 7 lucky gods, has also disappeared, though they've now found enlightenment and all that stuff. So they're happy, and Buddha's happy and all that stuff. So that bit of the fight. Now, I assume you expected Buddha to win the fight in the end, right?
Yeah, outside of the one part where it seemed like maybe he wasn't going to win, I still felt throughout the entire situation that he really wasn't destined to lose.
Yeah. Granted, for a second, I did wonder, since they both ended when that one chapter where they stabbed each other, it's like, is this going to be a draw? Because, okay, that would be an interesting take, because, then it means that we get a 14th round if, like, both sides end up dying as a result of this fight. And that might resolve the situation of, like, okay, so the humans are going to need that one other excellent combatant that's left amongst their ranks.
Yeah.
So that would like that. But no, Buddha ended up winning it in the end. So
suppose a tie could happen at some point, though.
Yeah. So now we've got like there's a good point. So we now got like so this score is now even again, 3 versus 3, if you will.
Yep.
Stuff and this appears to be the second longest fight, at least inverse manga wise, as I think Jack versus Hercules was like 29 minutes. This one was 22.
Well, so, I mean, Jack did play keep away for the longest time, so
and all that stuff. So there's that. So but besides let's see Buddha, let's see Zerofoku, and let's see Hyjin. What do you make of some of the other characters that are introduced? As besides those two, we are also introduced to 2 other new godly characters.
Oh yeah, or Hades and Beelzebub.
Yeah.
Which one was Hades on the list? I don't remember.
Hades was not on the list, but Beelzebub
is. Oh yeah. Well, yeah, I knew Beelzebub was on the list, so
yeah.
I'm curious if he's next.
I wouldn't be surprised if like Beelzebub, this was like hyping up for upcoming Beelzebub fight, though, whether or not he's going to be round 7 or round 8 or maybe later on.
We know Loki and Odin get battles at some point. We know. Yeah, so no, Hades was a pretty nice introduction. Still never get over the fact that
Zeus being the youngest is somehow the oldest looking, but
Yeah. But yeah, I do like the sort of presence that Hades gives as let's see, the other gods such as like Ares is terrified of him and tries to show him the utmost respect as Hades is technically on par with Poseidon and Zeus really. The three most
well,
powerful.
yeah.
The three
Well, they're
sons.
all brothers, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's see. The three brothers, though, in Record of Ragnarok, there's technically four, but
There should be a fourth, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless there's not in this one, but yeah.
Yeah. I do like how he's just come. Let's see. Due to the fact that no one knows who Hydron is, which usually is the job of Hermes and Brother Hyde.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they're usually the ones you get to explain with everything, while Gully and Ares, ask the questions. But he comes in to explain, like, okay, I'm the expert of hell, since who knows? Hades might also become the explanation of Beelzebub's abilities and all that stuff in the future. But yeah, he came to explain Hydron and all that stuff, but he has his own interests of coming here, as he heard his own brother Poseidon was killed. So this might imply that he's either cares about his younger brother Poseidon, or at least is intrigued at the idea that someone is able to kill his brother, since in his mind, killing a god should be impossible and that stuff.
Yeah.
And he seems to be not pretty phased at all by Zeus's behavior when Zeus was like, all demanding of him. So he just calmly explains. But from what he can tell, he seems to have no patience for Ares, as he thinks him to be a fool.
Like I said, Ares is the whipping boy of this.
Yeah. Always the whipping boy.
But,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think Hades was pretty spot on with the mythology.
Let's see, and explaining this calm, ditzy demonic figure, though. He's probably, in terms of appearance-wise, it's probably not what you expect for the Lord of Hades, I guess. You expect a more underworld vibe, I guess, but he looks pretty smart as well. But I do like the design of like this gentleman with the eye patch thing. So it makes me wonder if the eye patch has got something to do with his abilities, which makes me come to the question: you think Hades would probably fill in Buddha's missing spot, now that Buddha switched sides with humanity and he'll become one of the contestants?
I suppose it's possible.
It would be interesting if he decides, like, you know what, I'll come in and all that stuff. But I do like how he's able to deduce, like, what's going on with Buddha. And he seemed to be the only one not phased when Buddha starts taking the lead again against Hyjin and ends up winning in the end. Yeah. So all the other gods were just, like, either shocked or enraged.
Right.
So he seems to be a much more calmer figure than all the other gods, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he gets shocked at some point as well, but for now, he remains the most, calm figure.
Calming indeed.
So anyway, what do you make of the other combatant the other god we introduced, Beelzebub?
Not much to really say about him right now, other than I guess it proves that he's fairly... I don't know if conniving's the right word, but he's definitely a planner person of sorts, planting seeds, I guess.
Well, he seems to have a rather devious and sinister streak to him, if you will. Let's see. And perhaps a bit of sense of curiosity, as he seemed to want to experiment with, like, hydrogen's remains and try and turn him into and try to merge him with a god to try and see what the result of that experiment would be and all that stuff. Creating perhaps a more sinister version of Hydron, and even possibly ruining like Shirafuku's life and all that stuff, and eventually consuming him and killing him in the end.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a sense of calculation, so it's intriguing.
Yeah.
To think that he seems to be the more scientist type of figure, so that does make me wonder who he's going to be fighting in the future, because I think at that point I figured he was going to be fighting Sasaki Kintuki, since apparently he's a demon slayer or something. Or
Right.
some mythology of like slaying evil.
Right.
Figure. I don't know. The only thing I know of Sasaki Kintuki is the fact that he's the inspiration for the parody manga series Gintama with Gintuki, so I'm not very much of an expert on that stuff. I do know that's For Life's favorite manga, so this is one reason I want to try and see if I can get For Life to read Record of Ragnarok, because, just for the name Sasaki Kintuki alone.
Come on, For Life, do For Life things.
So I wonder, since he's revealed to be a scientist, if he's going to have a more more knowledge.
Scientific approach.
Yeah, to fighting.
Well, that would then make me think of Tesla, but I don't know.
Or maybe even that Dr. Rasputin.
That could too, yep. I think Rasputin was another one that some people thought might be the next fight, if Beelzebub's next.
But yeah, it is very curious to see who would. But yeah, it would be very curious to see and all that stuff. But granted, it also makes us wonder about in the future fights. Let's see. I suppose we want to get talking about, let's see, the future rounds now, unless you want to talk about any of the human spectators that were introduced.
There's really nothing to the spectators.
Yeah.
I mean,
when we were describing the chapter, I think we already went about the 4 sages, which is probably one of the reasons why the stream ended up being as long as it did.
Yeah.
So let's see, but yeah.
But I mean, again, all mostly historical religious figures. So
yeah. So there's nothing really on to go on there. So now that round, let's see, 6 is being played, and it's a tie again. Now we're just about roughly around halfway to go, though, with round 7 being the midway fight and all that stuff.
Right.
Let's see. We have at least, since the humans didn't really have, since Buddha switched sides, we still got another, I think. Let's see.
Well, there's 13 rounds. That means one of the humans would have, again, so there's, based on that list, there would be now another 7, now there would only be 6 guys left versus 7.
I think, let's see, so wait, there were 5 rounds before Buddha,
yeah.
So there were 8 remaining combatants, or at least, 8 remaining combatants, with Buddha standing on the side. Let's see, humanity now has 9.
Yeah.
With Buddha gone with round 6, we're now back to 8 combatants for humans. So, and the gods have 6, so they need to replace one. But the humanity has one that is, but humanity has more than one extra, if you will.
Right. So unless humans somehow decides to either some reason fight for the gods, which I suppose could possibly happen too, depending on. I think some people said one of the combatants on the human side considered himself a god in the first place, but
yeah, I believe the Chinese emperor, I believe it was.
Right.
So he could end up switching sides, though.
Right.
Let's see. We have to wait and see if whether or not Hades is going to become like a permanent spectator or possibly a combatant in the future.
Although obviously, if Hades introduced himself now, that's a possibility too.
Yeah. It's like, I'll give it a shot. I'm curious to see how these humans are able to kill my brother. Well, there's that.
Yep.
But So, of course, one solution is you could have possibly 2 humans fighting at the same time, but then again, let's see, Heimdall was against 7 gods going up against Buddha in the first place, so that might be a bit. But
the only other thing that they could do is maybe a tag team, but I don't know how they would do that. So,
well, the only other suggestion I can think of is, like you suggested earlier, is that, let's see, there does eventually happen to be a tie in the future.
That could happen, yes.
So there needs to be a 14th round. So since humanity gets an extra, that would, let's see, so that would fill in that one. Of course, if that happens, that means the gods will need to get an extra figure. So,
right.
Yeah. So we might get 2 new combatants, the gods, if that ends up being the case. But that would resolve the situation. Though, granted, it would also mean the manga goes on a bit longer than what we were expecting. But I suppose, let's see. But I suppose we're fighting tournament manga. You gotta try and keep it as exciting as much as possible with the twists and turns. And that's what, in the case with round 6, happened with Buddha switching sides, and then the opponent just changed with like each transformation, if you will.
Yep.
So yeah. But I suppose that's one thing that you gotta like at the manga. Try and sometimes not many people have made guesses of like who's going to win the round or who's going to lose. There's nights that it's going to be still a bit unpredictable of how it goes about it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So there's that. So now with like all the predictions out of the way, so now let's see, round 6. Do you think it's good, bad, or what?
Well, I mean, it's good.
Fair enough.
I don't know what else to really say about like it in the terms of good, bad, or what else, but
fair enough. So in terms of the fights that have taken place so far, where would you rank it, I guess?
well, I got to remember what was my last list. I think you had Jack still on top, at least with the last one, but you know, I don't know. It's probably in the top 3.
Fair enough.
Possibly. I don't remember my list per se, but I think it went something. I think Jack was in top 3. I think it might have been. I always forget the guy, the Japanese swordsman guy.
Sasaki Kojin?
Yeah. I don't remember if he was in the top or if he was mid. I want to say he was top because it was the first Humanity ruin, but I don't really think the fights have been really all that. I don't think there's really been a bad fight. I think there might have been. That one might have been at the bottom then, now that I thought about it. It wasn't a bad fight. It's just not much happened.
Fair enough.
But, yeah, I'll say top 3 for sure.
Fair enough. For me, I think I'm going to rank it as Jack versus Heracles, Adam versus Zeus, Buddha versus Sirfoku and later Hyjin, Sasaki Kojin versus Poseidon, Raymond Tango versus Shiva,
Yep.
and Thor versus Lubu. I think.
Yeah, it's always that first round that probably is the most ultimately. Well, again, it's the start of the manga, so things get better as they go on.
It's more of an introduction and that stuff.
Right.
So, and it's pretty short, and not to mention the first 2 fights were in the span of 6 chapters. Well, granted, with Sasaki Kojin and Poseidon, that was like 7 chapters, I believe, and then finally with like, let's see, as it been for the last 3 fights, been at least 10 to 11 chapters, as we will.
Right.
And from what I can guess, if the manga keeps up that pace, let's see, with the next 7 rounds, we've probably got at least another 70 more chapters to go before the series is over.
Yep.
At least, though, granted, for all we know, the fights might be, that of course depends on how, if the fights stay on that average, the fights could become longer or shorter depending on how they draw and write the stuff.
I would say the sniper battle would definitely be probably one of the quicker battles.
Fair enough.
I would think. Watch it somehow be the longest.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's the Russian sniper against Apollo, I believe. That's what everyone's predicting.
Probably.
So yeah. So anyway, who would you like to be round 7 anyway?
Well, I mean, since he was already introduced, I wouldn't mind just getting Beelzebub out of the way.
Yeah, that would be interesting because, let's see, for a while I thought Beelzebub would be against Sasaki Kintaki.
Right.
It's the final fight, but if that's not the case, who knows? Then, let's see, because I figured if humanity was going to win in the end, let's see,
You'd think it'd be against the interpretation of the devil itself, of himself.
Yeah, and you get like a Japanese samurai saving humanity and all that stuff.
Well, I mean, maybe Beelzebub does get saved, but if he does, that's an interesting opportunity to introduce him so quickly, but probably not the interpretation I expected for Beelzebub, though.
Not Beelzebub being saved, but more of like, let's see, like Sasaki, let's see.
I'm not saying saved, but I mean like pushed till the very end.
Yeah, but it's like Kintakibi's the human that does the deciding win for humanity, saving them and all that stuff. That's kind of what I meant.
Oh, yeah.
So there's all that stuff. But if that's not the case, then it'll be very interesting to see who would be the final fight and all that stuff. I mean, granted, Odin, since he's like as powerful, probably as powerful as Zeus, as regards the other big god, could also be the final fight.
Yeah.
But anyway, so round 7. If you had to guess, who do you think would win, the gods or the humans?
Well, it seems like for every one or two wins the gods get, the humans finally replicate.
So you think the match would go to the gods?
No, I'd still imagine the humanity wins in the end.
Yeah.
The only other way I think I mentioned that in our other thing was only other way I could see humanity somehow surviving this is if they put up such a good fight that the gods kind of go back on their own decision making. But at the same time, like, I don't really know if I'd imagine Ragnarok wouldn't work like that.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm thinking as more for the 7th round in general. I think humanity is going to win in the end, but I mean, for the 7th round, who do you think would win the 7th round?
I think gods win. I was going to say humans, but I don't think they're ever going to really have. I don't really think they're going to give them the opportunity to have like any type of lead. I mean, I suppose they could give them a lead, only to have them like lose a couple straight and then finally win the last two, possibly. But I think it's just safer to say gods win right now because it doesn't seem like, again, humanity has ever had any type of lead in this.
Yeah, I think they'll not have a lead until near closer to the end. So I think the gods will continue to have a lead to keep it suspenseful for humanity's side. But at some point, humanity will start taking the lead before it becomes like that one final fight and all that stuff, though.
I could see it maybe being like 5-5 at some point, and then the gods, or maybe like 5. No, it's already tied 3.
Yeah,
it's already tied 3-3. So I suppose I could see it being maybe the gods take the next 2 wins again. And then humanity has to win like 3 straight or something, or would have to win like 4 straight. So I can't imagine it being like that. So
I think it's possible that it could become 5-5, and then humanity gets 6, but then gods get 6, and then it's now 6-6
down to the last humanity. Yeah, that could happen.
Yeah, no, interesting. Now that let's see, but since Buddha did not use any of the Valkyries, that means that one of the Valkyries will not be used. So, which is, if I had to guess, it's most likely Goli, since she's an apprentice Valkyrie, really.
Watch it be Goli that gets used, and Brunhild being the protagonist somehow doesn't.
That'd be interesting, though. Yeah, because as far as we can tell, these are like our 2 Valkyrie sisters are the main characters, yet they're the only ones that are like not in the fights. They're more of just the backgrounds and leading humanity in this fight against the gods.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting to see if they do take part or not. But yeah, we still have at least, but with Buddha taking over for one of them, that means there's going to be one less Valkyrie in the thing. Granted, I do at least think that we'll see all of their sisters at least, because they have not yet been introduced, so they're going to be taking part.
Right.
Let's see which one is going to be left. Because I believe so far Brillahide is the eldest, Gull is the youngest. We've seen the second sister. We've seen the third sister. We've seen the fourth. We've seen the 7th and the 11th. So that means all that's remained is the 5th, 6th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 12th sister.
Indeed.
So yeah. So most of the elder ones have already, gone with with half of them dead.
Of course.
And with mostly the younger ones surviving, though I expect that. Though I do wonder if that means at some point we're going to see some of the younger sisters starting dying now and all that stuff.
I could see that.
At the moment, it's been all the elder ones, though. I assume that it'll probably be some of the younger ones now. Otherwise, it'll be a bit predictable about. When humans win. It's when the elder sisters die and all that stuff, rather than the younger ones. But granted, Saki Kojin had the second eldest, so that would be the exception. But who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But it'll be very interesting to see. So in that regards. But anyway, have anything? So you have anything else you want to say about round 6 Mangareader?
Anything else?
Yeah.
Other than the fact that, again, we talked about how the fact that it probably would have been a pain in the ass to do a 7v1, which could have been interesting. I think it played out pretty much how most of us expected, even with the plot twist.
Fair enough. So if it was a 7v1 fight, how'd you feel if it became a 7v7 fight? A battle royale fight.
7v7. That would have been rather intense. Pretty sure Buddha would have still had to carry.
Yeah. But yeah, fair enough. I mean, let's see. Granted, we came close to the closest we ever aimed to see that team battle was in round 5, where behind the scenes we had Buddha and two Gritty champions, 2 of the humans representatives and one of their supporters.
Yeah.
Against Loki and the 7 lucky gods in a 4v8 fight, but that was interrupted by Zeus and Odin.
Yeah.
So before that could happen, so there we go.
I was trying to. Well, I lost my train of thought on what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Sorry, take your time.
Yeah, go ahead if you want to keep. Maybe I'll figure it out again.
Fair enough. It's okay if I can re-jog your memory. I said 8v4 fight.
Yeah, I know that. I don't think I was thinking along those terms, but I think it had something to do with crud. What was it? I think it had something to do with Buddha, but damn it!
Oh boy, we're leaving at the.
No, we're not gonna leave on this cliffhanger. I'll either remember it or it wasn't anything important to begin with.
Fair enough. So I suppose you're ready to wrap this up now. I take it.
Yeah, I think we've been talking almost 2 hours now.
Yeah,
on a round 6 fight.
Yeah,
we're literally almost to the 3 hours that it took for the damn whole first 5 fights.
Yeah, granted, we did have a bit of in between breaks of talking about what happened, what's been going on before, just explaining all the other mythologies and all that stuff. But yeah, granted,
I suppose.
I was expecting this to be 1 hour and 30 minutes. Now, granted, this guess that goes to show I really got to stop behind this, describe the entire story in detail.
Yeah, sometimes it's not too bad to maybe skim some things and just get to the suppression part of, hey, this is what this happened. But, I mean, obviously informative is fine.
Yeah. I mean, I did try to do it when it came to all the sort of clashing bits because it's it's just, slashing, blah, blah, blah. But there we go. But but I'll hopefully try that again when we finally get to discuss round 7. Now, granted, I expect that'll probably be within a year's time.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get probably like normal an intermission.
Yeah. But granted,
before
they have, but see, during the time of like this fight, there were 2 chapters that came out at the same time. So
that was an interesting point. Maybe they'll try and do 2 chapters, but
yeah. So instead of like, if there's going to be a habit of like more 2 chapters a month kind of thing now and then for a specific fight, that might mean that it might be quicker than a year. It might be like 8 months or something. So
one at the start of the month, one at the end of the month. That could work.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe.
But anyway, we're in October now, so and then there's 3 months left, so we got to at least get 3 new chapters this year, unless there's a few more extra doubles.
Yeah.
And then let's see, and then we'll have the 12 next year. So yeah, I assume probably around midway year next year is when round 7 will be done, and then we can talk about Record of Ragnarok again. Though of course. Of course, we could again talk about it when you watch the anime and all that stuff, if you will, and we give our thoughts on the anime as adaptation and all that stuff.
Dude, I keep forgetting about it because I keep picking up new things.
Well, it's on Netflix, remember?
I do remember it's on Netflix, but first off, I don't own Netflix, so I have to do the less conventional finding it online situation.
Yeah.
You know.
So yeah, you can watch it officially and
rioting.
But yeah, so that's everything we got to say. Let's see, I'm Blue Star Saber.
Mangareader.
And for those who have ended up watching us, and I see there's at least one person watched us, thank you for spending your time watching the stream, as we ended up doing a long time, and I apologize if I've made it drag on a bit now and then, but thank you for listening to what we had to say.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Until next time.
Good day.